everybody, and welcome. We are about to get started here, and tonight's going to be such an exciting webinar. As you know, I am Sasha Gilbert, and I would like to go ahead and bring to the stage Miss Margaret Loperena. Say hello, Margaret.
Hello, everyone. My name is Margaret Loperena.
And also joining us this evening is Miss Jody Sanders.
Hello, how are you?
Good to see you, ladies. Thank you so much for being here. As you both know, I'm incredibly passionate about our webinar this evening, and I'm really looking forward to some great conversation with both of you. So, on that note, ladies, if you are ready, we're going to go ahead and get started. To those of you watching, we are talking about women on the rise in the financial industry and some things. Jody, you wanna go ahead and mute yourself?
Oh,
I can
sorry.
hear you shuffling papers. And we're gonna be talking about some different aspects of women in the industry. So let's get started. Women are so important in the financial industry, and I know, Margaret, you and I were talking earlier. What is it that you think really matters in this conversation?
I think that, well, diversity mainly. Women are so diverse that they can do so many different things. They can wear so many different hats, and they can basically um, show people how to duplicate themselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, Jody, you and I think we're talking the other day. And when you've got all of these things that come up in business, women look at things from a completely different perspective in many cases. And what does that do for a business if you're valuing everybody's perspective?
Well, a lot of times it comes in many different hats, as women have. Um, the we have to do the shopping, do the cooking a lot of times, then go make the bacon, cook the bacon, the whole bit. And so when this happens, it's just a lot of times you're micromanaging so much. You learn a lot of multitasking skills, and we are underrepresented quite a bit because sometimes you can seem to fall short at times, and people just don't know what's going on in the background, truthfully.
That's very, very true. I've had some great conversations recently with a few of the male leadership team members, and we're talking about, different aspects of the business and moving forward and what direction do we want to go. And it's incredible to see that collaboration. And so when you've got, women and minorities and men and different ages, because we have a very wide age range within our company, from the very young to those that have been in the industry for over 40 years, you just can make such amazing things happen by having the freedom and the culture and the environment to be able to share those perspectives. And that's just absolutely critical. Any other thoughts from you, Margaret?
Well, I agree with you there. There's the industry, our industry is a wide variety of different ages, is what and we have the women and men. And as far as women goes, we are usually um, we can be great leaders. We can be great leaders. However, we tend to be cautious and not step on any toes, but to try to encourage them, the people that we're working with, especially the male side, um, to get there. Okay, we can work together, and we want to be inclusive. We want to say, hey, we can do this. Let's make out a plan, and all of that jive.
Absolutely. And, that kinda ties to some other webinars that we've done and how you do have to be incredibly intentional in order to create that environment where everybody has the freedom to share. And there's none of that unconscious bias going on, and you're really getting some effective communication going.
That's
So
correct.
and move on here because as women, we do face some challenges. And I just kind of led into that, the first one, which is unconscious bias and discrimination. I personally have encountered that and quite recently. And it's like you and I were sharing in another video, Margaret, it's nobody's fault. It's a combination of factors that have led to that mental paradigm that, I mean, that's why it's an unconscious bias. But as women, we do have to start setting boundaries and using our strengths and verbally communicating when that is just not acceptable, no matter the consequences. Don't be scared, ladies. I mean, we just simply have to do it. What about you, ladies?
Well, I think that being unconsciously being biased is that you're right, Sasha. Is they may not know. They may not know. Just like if you're doing getting ready to present something or getting ready to do something, they may say, "Well, I can do that. I can handle that for you." And women tend to feel offended, because it's what they do. They want to go on and take care of things, but the man step in and say, "Oh, you can't do that. I'll do that for you." And I said, "Okay, we don't want to be we want to be women, of course, but we want them to know that we are strong women. We can handle certain
Absolutely.
things."
Absolutely. But like you said, we don't like stepping on toes. That's not in
Right.
our nature. And so, to be successful, there's that phrase where you do have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. And that's
Yes.
just something that you have to do.
Yes.
Now, I posted a blog article today about how financial literacy can actually help improve the gender pay gap. What are your thoughts on that, ladies?
Okay, so we're gonna get paid more, or they're gonna get paid less.
This is true. But,
So yeah, I mean that we need to fill that gap, and the fact of the matter is that it comes with confidence, and the longer you're in your field of business, and you have confidence and understanding of the products that you represent, you're gonna get that, and I've seen that. I've met a lot of women this past week that were women of leadership, and I just know that in their particular fields, whether it would be a doctor or an agent, or even someone who has an agency, these are all women who literally are doing amazing things that I think in a lot of ways are run better. Does that make sense? Than
absolutely.
some men can do. I'm not going to say that men can't. That's not true. That's not it. It's just, when I see an agency run like a sewing machine, and there's a woman running it, and it there shouldn't be a pay gap. There should not be a pay gap in that respect.
Absolutely right. When I was getting my doctorate, they actually offered a class in order to help fix this issue. And it was all about women and the art of negotiation because we are raised to be nice and pleasant and people pleasers and not to challenge authority, all of these things that were at least happening back then. Uh, it just negotiating feels really uncomfortable. Often women are just so grateful for the opportunity to do the job and to prove themselves that they don't try to negotiate. And so financial literacy will really not only help you understand money and finance and just everything that goes into it, but it's going to give you that confidence to know what you're worth. And
Right.
honestly, I don't know about you ladies, but that's why I'm in this industry because I know what I'm worth. And if nobody's going to pay me that, I'm going to go out and get it. And so that is one thing that I think is leading more and more women into the financial industry. And I really do expect that gender pay gap to start to decrease at a slightly faster rate. Margaret, you had talked quite a bit with me about networking and mentoring barriers,
Hmm.
as well as lack of representation on the previous slide.
Hmm.
Well, I think that that's something we're going to get into on a future slide here because I think that it's just so critical. Jody, you actually went to a couple of networking events today. Were they anything like the ones I've been to where they were 90% men?
No, uh, quite con- quite contrary. It was the majority were women, probably 60-40, and I would have to say that the women were actually the ones that had been in the business longer. So, um, I mean, I went to a luncheon where there were women who literally owned assisted living places, and they managed them, and they had multiple places. And now that just sounds to me like, wow, um, that's a lot for me. I mean, I enjoy what I do, but whoa, that's crazy. But I do. I actually know a lot of women that are very, very successful, and I just I don't. Um, I don't see that there's a problem with networking and or even talking to people. You know, it shouldn't be that problem. Just have the confidence in yourself, and eventually um, you're gonna have what it takes to do what you need to do. I spoke with a gentleman yesterday and invited him to my networking events, and he was impressed. You know, actually a very new to the business gentleman. So I was like, wow, okay, so I'm actually teaching him the strings. You know what I'm saying?
Very cool. Now, Margaret, you were a huge help to me. So, if there are women watching and they're really interested in networking with other women, how can they figure out, where to find those opportunities?
Well, first of all, I would look online. I would go online to see which opportunities are out there. But basically, what helped me is getting involved in the community. And once you get involved in the community and they see you're willing to help the community, then a lot of people would walk up to you and they want to know what you're doing, how you're doing. Um, and I'm a listener. I rather listen to people and see where I can help them. And once you help them, then they would tend to say, "Hey, I'm part of this group. Would you like to visit?" And of course, yes. And that's just a easy way to go in. You show them your heart, and then they'll show you theirs.
Margaret, I think that's why we get along so well because you like to listen and I love to talk. But you are so right. When
Yeah.
you do finally go to these networking events, pay attention to everything. Listen, take note, decide who you are going to engage with, and be very intentional with that engagement and be bold. And it is definitely, definitely worth the time. All right,
Yes.
ladies, we've already kind of started addressing some of these challenges, but I just want to really look at them a little bit more closely. You and I, Margaret, have been working very hard together over the last few months to try and create some real opportunities for women, not only to enter the industry and to work with us, but also within our company. What are some things that we can do to really make a difference and help women to find those opportunities?
Well, I'm glad you asked that because I ran into a situation today. I um I met a young lady at an event, well, I guess it's about 3 or 4 months ago. Um, but she's on disability and can't make much money, okay, because it'll cut off her disability. Um, but however, she needs additional monies. So what I suggested to her, I said, we I'm gonna put you together with another young lady. And so I brought them into my office today together, and they worked out a plan. And what told her was the maximum that she could earn. And so the other young lady decided, oh, I can do that. We will make sure that you have additional monies. And that was just great. Um, the other thing is that training, uh, the people I meet, they just need training in certain areas. And I am more than happy to lend a hand. So those are
And
some
you are
that,
so good. You are
those are
so
some
good.
those are some of the basic things that you can do. But just look around you. Don't disregard um, what you see as being nothing. Just look at that thing or that situation and say, okay, how can I help them better their life?
Well, and we've been working very hard to develop not only the women's leadership program here at Virtual Financial, but also kind of meshing that with a mentorship program where you can be a mentor and you can find a mentor. And I think that's just so important that you find women that represent who you want to be. They've got the character qualities that you want to embrace. They've got that confidence, the abilities, the skills, and use them, not in a negative way, but if they're the right woman, they will
Mm-hmm.
gladly guide others and lift them up. And I just think that's so critical that companies and every industry should have something, but specifically companies need to develop some sort of a leadership and mentorship program, especially for women and minorities.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely. Go ahead, Jody.
what I what I see when I'm out in the field and I'm meeting with my clients, whether it be a client or maybe a service, I've talked to the people doing my nails or the people that are doing my hair. I've also, listened to some stay-at-home mothers, and I'm not talking just the ones with the babies. I'm talking about the ones that are also empty nesters. So these women are they've already been successful, or they're just on a brand new path. Um, One way or another, this what we're doing right here can offer not just an additional stream of money, financial help to whatever they've got going, help her with their startup business. This is the one of the best empowering tools that I've actually come across in the 17 years that I've been doing this. And so I can share, I can help mentor and actually train people and teach them how to how to do what they want to do, how to get to where they want to get, obtain their goals essentially.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And, for those of you watching, that's just at our, particular company within our industry. But whatever industry you may be in, if you don't have anything promoting leadership and personal growth and development, mentorship within your company, don't be afraid to bring it up. You can be the one that starts the change and really help create something that will be very beneficial in whatever company you are currently with. So don't be afraid to launch something because amazing things can come from that. Speaking of one of my favorite topics, the benefits of mentoring and networking. We've kind of touched on these quite a bit. So I thought, ladies, maybe that, rather than kind of rehashing what we've already touched on, maybe we could share an experience of where we either benefited from having a mentor or we had the opportunity to help someone as their mentor. And I'm putting you on the spot here, so think fast. Does anybody have an example?
So I had a client who is an elderly. She's one of my Medicare clients, and she is um, an old real estate agent. I hate to say the word old because that's only in their mind, and I will tell you she is definitely not old. But basically, she says, I want to go back to work. I want to make more money. I made so much money all my life. And I'm like, well, do I have the plan for you? You can do what you want with it, but you know what? You can reach that goal. I can help empower you to do what you want to do. And she's all ready to go. She's excited. And so what she told me is I made millions and I'm not done yet.
Good for her. Good for
Yes.
her.
Well, for me, gosh, I was just trying to pull something out of my head, as far as I have had so many encounters, so many experiences. But in a nutshell, um, I have been mentored too, um, by people that I respected. They gave me some great guidance and things like that, and I appreciate that, and it helped me in the long run. But however, I in turn was the mentor for someone else, and I was able to share what I've learned, and I actually seen it bloom in their lives, and they have become better people. They do quality work, and they are proud. And I said, never be ashamed of doing your best.
Amen. I love that.
Mhm.
For me personally, I've been blessed to have a few really great mentors in my life. And so, Ellen Markheim, if you're watching this, thank you. But in turn, just like you, Margaret, I want to keep paying that forward. And
Mhm.
so, even just for example, the webinars we're doing and the YouTube channels, the
Mhm.
podcasts and everything we're doing, as we start this rotation in the next couple weeks to give, women and men alike the opportunity to start participating more. It's
Mhm.
a way to just really help them to step out of their comfort zone, get some experience, get some exposure, get their name and contact information out there and, different things like that to really try to help them rise up and just kind of give them a little bit of a boost. And so I have really enjoyed that aspect of working with a few of the different men and women within our company. I'm working with a couple of guys very closely right now as well to just try to help them grow and expand a little bit. And it's absolutely incredible. Of course, my focus is on helping women, but like you said previously, there's no such thing as work life balance. So I'll take on some more work and make that happen because the benefits are just
Have
so
another kid,
important.
whatever.
Yeah, no, no more kids. We're done with that. We've moved on to grandchildren now. So now it's somebody else's problem and I just get to have some fun.
Okay.
We briefly talked about the importance of inclusion and diversity. And I would love to just actually find a picture of our company. Within our company, ladies, and be honest, how do you feel we're doing with inclusion and diversity?
I think we're doing great. I have, when I first come into this particular company, I was I was pleasantly surprised. I really was. But we can do better. We always strive, and like you say, Sasha, we can always strive to do better, and
That is so true.
make it easy for others to enter.
Yes. And I think it's important that, again, you be very intentional as
Yes.
a company, as people in leadership. It just has to happen, but it's not going to happen naturally. You've got to actually be intentional, provide the programs, provide the mentorship
Hmm.
that will
Hmm.
really bring your company to the next level, because there are so many benefits to having that diversity. And so, again, those of you watching, if that's not something you're seeing in your company, it's really not that hard. If it's important to you, you can make that happen. You can develop the programs, the mentorship, the leadership that it requires in order to
Absolutely.
completely change the culture of an organization. And I know over the last year at Virtual Financial, we've seen a lot of that. Not when it comes to diversity, they're it's an incredible company, an absolute incredible company, but we've seen such positive changes in the overall culture of the company, and moving forward and encouraging collaboration and really teamwork throughout the entire company. And it's been amazing, but it took somebody speaking up. It took
You know,
somebody making waves. And
right.
I've never surfed, but I'm good at making waves. So
So, yeah, I have clients who are Vietnamese, Filipino, Spanish, a Latino background, African American, and now we're talking different languages here. Now, and sometimes it's very hard for me to understand what they're saying. But when I tell them, about the opportunity, for some reason, we all seem to understand when it comes to money.
for
We're
those of
speaking
you
the
watching, we really
same
do need some
language.
help. If you're bilingual, please reach out. We've got a spot for you. We do need some more bilingual people to help out with some translation issues and to be able to open up into other markets. So
Well,
if you're
see,
bilingual,
it's the tip of the iceberg. I mean, like basically, if you have a culture and you have I mean, I met a guy yesterday who was I can't even remember what his background was, but I'm like, if you have more people that you know, then you're going to be the beginning, and it's just going to explode. And so when we're talking Latino, that's a whole nother market, and you're going to be on the beginning, at the very beginning of it, and it's just it's sky is the limit when you're talking to these people, and the opportunity is literally limitless. So, as far as diversity is concerned, if you feel that you have not got the confidence because of your ethnicity, throw that away, because I'm telling you, you can succeed with what we've got going here. This is a proven strategy to help a limitless income stream. Let me tell you.
now,
Yes.
again, that's just with our company, but
Yes.
whatever industry you may be in, focus on making some positive changes, whether it is creating the programs, encouraging the diversity, and just that spirit of inclusion within your industry and, of course, within your specific company. So just wrapping it up here, ladies, because we're almost at 8 o'clock here. I just want to thank those of you that have been watching. If you've got any questions or you need some guidance on how you can implement some of these things in your company or within your industry, certainly feel free to reach out to any of us because it just takes one person and the benefits are truly limitless. We need to see more women, more minorities rising up within their respective fields, like we're seeing happen within the financial sector. So, on that note, I would like to thank you so much for coming. If you want to reach out to any of us, you'll see our contact information down below there. So, take a screenshot, give us a call, shoot us a message. And on that note, I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for coming.